Well, good morning and welcome to the Bullitt County Fiscal Court. Today is the 21st day of May, 2024. It's now 9:30 a.m. And at this time, if Jose Cabrera could lead us in a invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Jose? That's fine.
You all bow your heads, please. Dear Lord, thank you for this wonderful day, beautiful day that we get together to make a difference in our community. Be looking after Judge Summers and the Fiscal Court as they make decisions for the whole, not the one. Let's make sure that we always focus on being kind to each other and helping those in need. We have an opportunity every day to make a difference. Let's focus on that as each day we go through to make a difference, and we pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and with the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mayor. Candy, if you'll call the roll to bring the court to order, please.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Bleemel?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders? Here.
Thank you. The Treasurer's Transfer Report. Okay.
I make a motion to accept the treasurer's transfer report.
Second.
Got a motion by 1st District Magistrate Sanders, a second by 4th District Magistrate Bleemel to accept the Treasurer's Transfer Report as presented. Candy, call the roll.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Bleemel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Presentation and approval of all bills.
I'll make a motion that we approve our bills as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson, a second by 4th District Magistrate Bleemel to approve the bills as presented. Candy, call the roll.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Bleemel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Treasurer's report.
I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Second.
I got a motion by 1st District Magistrate Sanders, a second by 4th District Magistrate Bleemel to accept the Treasurer's report as presented. Candy, call the roll.
Mr. Bleemel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Approval of the minutes for the May 7th, 2024 Bullitt County Fiscal Court meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of May 7th, 2024 fiscal court meeting.
I'll second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Bleemel, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson to approve the minutes of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court for May the 7th of 2024. Sam, call the roll, please.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Bleemel?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Candy. Do we have a sign-in sheet?
There's no one.
No one on there? That's different.
Yeah.
Um,
I expected there to be.
Presentation, Christy, please.
Good morning.
Morning, Christy.
I'm here to talk about household hazardous waste, but I want to give you guys just a quick update on some other things that are going on in solid waste first. We had some community involvement opportunities, which we are going to try to engage more with the community. So we did some Earth Day events. We gave away water bottles at Recycle for everyone that came during the week of Earth Day. We did some seed exchanges at the libraries. So Bullitt County Solid Waste provided seeds. And we started school presentations at Brooks to talk about recycle, which was really well received. So I can't wait to get into the schools. Cleanup days. A lot of questions for cleanup days. Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Okay. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to have people call me. We have everyone wanting to ask questions about where to drop off tires. We are not accepting tires for cleanup days or household hazardous waste. A lot of questions about that. Our litter abatement, something to speak about. We have already logged in 1,820 hours of inmate time. So that's a lot of cleanup in the county. So that's a really good use of our litter abatement funds. And recent grants, which leads us to household hazardous waste. Remember, I told you guys I'm never sending money back. So last year, we received $13,000 for household hazardous waste. This year, specifically last week, Bullitt County was awarded $41,000 because our event was so successful last year. So we'll talk about that a little more coming up. Something else exciting, for the first time ever, we received a recycling grant, $392,926. And I'll be coming to you guys to talk about what that money is for, probably in the next 2 months. We have a specific program we're going to spend that for. And we are finishing up our tire grant for the year. So since we received $40,000 for household hazardous waste, thank you. I want to talk a little bit about it. We have a lot of questions, phone calls, emails wise, about what is hazardous waste, what is considered household hazardous waste, how do you know what you can bring and what you cannot. So the EPA defines household hazardous waste as any leftover household products that can catch fire, react, or explode. So anything that you have in your garages, anything you have under your sinks that say flammable, combustible, dangerous, caution, warning, those are the things that we want you to bring. We don't want you to try to combine them yourselves. Just bring the entire container, and we have a company that's going to unload your vehicle for you. So just bring it in whatever container it's in. We had some people last year tried to combine it together, and not all chemicals can be combined. Other questions from the county are why do we collect household hazardous waste? Next. I think we skipped one. So household hazardous waste, you never dump these down the drain outside or outside on the ditch lines, anything like that. I hear people say, if you don't take it, I'm just gonna throw it on the ground. Ultimately, that ends up in our water supply, it ends up in our food supply. So there's specific reasons that we don't want to do that. Never dump this stuff down the drain. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's being disposed of properly. Next. Implications of household hazardous waste. If you throw them in your regular trash, like Waste Management doesn't want you to do, or Rumpke, it gets in the landfill and it breaks down their liner quickly. It reacts with other things that are thrown away. So we want all that stuff collected. Hopefully, from here on out, we'll have 2 events a year in Bullitt County. Holding stuff for a year is a long time to ask someone to do, but I think every 6 months we can do that. Next. Electronic waste. You might not think about electronic waste as a waste that is dangerous, but the components of electronic waste contain many chemicals that are known in industry as hazardous. So as they break down, whether it be power cords or solder, household hazardous waste, specifically electronic waste, is more dangerous than all the other wastes combined once they're disposed of. Next. So household hazardous waste and electronics. specifically, you wouldn't think that electronic waste could affect you in what you breathe and what you drink, but it does as it breaks down. So it'll end up in your water. One of the primary concerns is phthalates. You'll hear some of that in the news lately, phthalates. They call it the forever chemical. They're testing every landfill, all waterways for phthalates, and electronic waste is a big component of that. Next. So 70 million tons of electronic waste annually are disposed of. Only 2.5%, only 17.4% of that is recycled correctly. So that's a lot. We have a long way to go. And that's why we want to do two events a year in Bullitt County. One of the most expensive electronics to get rid of, as you guys know, are TVs. We have people try to drop TVs off every week at the recycle facility. We don't take TVs there. We need you to hold on to those until you have an electronic waste day. If they're small TVs and they're newer, you can call your municipal waste provider and ask them. Some of them they can put in, but usually if people are getting rid of it, they're older, and they're going to need to save them for our household hazardous waste day. It's the law. The EPA says there are certain ways you have to get rid of electronic waste. Batteries specifically, car batteries, the new electronic vehicle batteries, we are not accepting those. There are difficulties around disposal of those, but household batteries, household hazardous waste, household electronics, household batteries, we will accept those. Next. So every state can be as stringent as federal government or not. So you have to be at least as stringent as the federal government. Kentucky goes a little above and beyond for batteries, but once again, we just want to remind you at Household Hazardous Waste Days, only household batteries. Next. Last year, at our Household Hazardous Waste Day, we got rid of 41 skids of e-scrap. We had TVs as big as vehicles. Ultimately, we got rid of almost 19,000 pounds of household hazardous waste. That was a lot in just 4 hours. We had about, if you count my vehicle, we had 250 vehicles. Yeah, I know, it was full. We had 250 vehicles, which was the biggest turnout ever for Bullitt County, which is what helped us get an additional grant to have two. If we had it for 8 hours, I'm sure that we would have continued to collect. But we exceeded every vehicle our contractor had there, plus their personal vehicles. So next. Electronic scrap and household hazardous waste. We want everyone to collect those and bring them. So the grant itself is a matching grant. So I think I spoke to you guys before we applied for it, and I said, hey, I'm going to ask for $40,000. Understand that's a 25% matching grant. And I already have outlined how we're going to spend that match, which a significant portion of that is advertising. So last year we got 13, this year we got 41,000. Next. And you'll see that's our new flyer. Last year was the first year we had it at Cart Country. Mr. James has verbally agreed to let us have it at Cart Country again this year. So that's pretty exciting. But the state as a whole had significantly more money to distribute to the state for these programs this year. So we look forward to seeing you guys at our household hazardous waste. When in doubt, if you don't know what to bring, give us a call. We do not accept tires. We do not accept oil. Oil is one of those materials that our grant does not pay for disposal. Last year we had a significant amount of oil brought to us, of which we managed through the county garage, but we will not be accepting oil. Latex paint, we have a lot of questions about latex paint. Why can't I bring latex paint? Latex paint is not considered hazardous. Probably 5 or 6 times a week, I have calls about what to do with latex paint. Latex paint you can solidify with cat litter, some type of sand, and then let it dry out and then put it in your regular municipal trash. So if you guys have any questions about household hazardous waste or large item pickup days, let me know. Our county cleanup days, June 1st and June 22nd. But if you are in the city of Shepherdsville, I believe the weekend of the 6th and 7th, they will have dumpsters available. And Hillview has dumpsters on the first Saturday of the month. So there are many opportunities within the county to get rid of large items. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the hazardous waste grant. And then also, I'll entertain a motion to approve the $300,000+ recycling grant as well, to move forward with them both.
So moved.
Got a second by 4th District Magistrate Blamel to approve both grants. Candy, call the roll. Yes.
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 Thank you all. Second reading for ordinance 24-07, a text amendment proposing fee schedule change for certain applications and permits. Tammy?
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 24-07. An ordinance relating to text amendment 2024-T-01, amending the fee schedule for certain applications and permits. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said text amendment and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed text amendment is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that text amendment 2024-T-01, attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference as if set out in full, is adopted. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 7th day of May 2024. Given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 21st day of May 2024.
Thank you, Tammy.
I'll make a motion that we accept ordinance 2407, the text amendment.
I'll second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Blamel, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson to accept the planning and zoning recommendation for the text amendment on changing the fee schedule for zoning ordinance 24-07. Candy, call the roll, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Second reading for ordinance 24-08, JD Contractors and Landscaping, LLC.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 24-08. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from R1 residential to IL light industrial. The property in question is 13.08 acres, more or less, located at Brooks Hill Road, parcel number 034-000-00-042B in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission and docket number 2024Z-05 is hereby changed from R1 residential to IL light industrial. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 7th day of May 2024, given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 21st day of May 2024.
Thank you, Tammy.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the recommendation from the Planning Commission for ordinance 24-08 JD Contractors and Landscaping LLC.
I'll second.
Got a motion by First District Magistrate Sanders, a second by Third District Magistrate Johnson to approve the Planning and Zoning the Planning Commission's recommendations for zoning ordinance 24-08, JD Contractors and Landscaping. Candy, call the roll, please.
Yes.
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 Thank you. Tammy, the second reading for zoning ordinance 24-09, JD Contractors and Landscaping LLC.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 24-09, an ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from R1 residential to IL light industrial. The property in question is 0.5 acres, more or less, located at 1107 Brooks Hill Road, parcel number 034-000-00-042 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission, and docket number 2024Z-06, is hereby changed from R1 residential to IL light industrial. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 7th day of May 2024, given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 21st day of May 2024.
Thank you, Tammy.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the recommendation from the Planning Commission for ordinance 24-09 JD Contractors and Landscaping LLC.
Second.
Got a motion by First District Magistrate Sanders, a second by Fourth District Magistrate Blamel to approve the plan and zoning recommendation for JD Contractors and Landscaping 24-09. Candy, call the roll.
Yes.
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 Thank you, and good luck to your new business. Or expanding your existing business, let's put it that way. Thank you all. Tammy, the second reading for ordinance 24-10, Stout Farm Brothers, Inc.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 24-10, an ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from agricultural to conservation. The property in question is 96 acres, more or less, located at Deerwood Drive, parcel number 054-000-00-019 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and Whereas the fiscal court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission and docket number 2024Z-08, is hereby changed from agricultural to conservation. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 7th day of May 2024, given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 21st day of May 2024.
Thank you, Tammy.
And Judge, I would like to add, just for the record, I did speak to Robert Watkins, the road superintendent, and he told me that based upon our ordinance, we cannot allow gravel to be added to Deerwood Drive. That
Okay.
cannot happen.
All right.
So I just wanted to put that on the record for the court.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to make a motion that we override the Planning Commission's recommendation for ordinance 2410 Stout Brothers Farm due to lack of infrastructure to support the construction of a subdivision and the denial of the construction entrance on Highway 31 Bardstown Road.
And I'd like to second that.
I have a motion by Magistrate, 4th District Magistrate Blamel, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson. And on your denial there, if you could just pass that to the recorder. I can't remember it all. To make sure we get it right.
So like a finding of fact would be lack of infrastructure to support the construction of a subdivision, and the owner was asked to consider a construction entrance and declined, and the owner has land to put a construction entrance off of Highway 31 Bardstown.
Okay, thank you, Magistrate. Candy, call the roll.
Mr. Blamel?
No.
Judge Summers?
Oh,
It would be a vote of yes if you're voting to approve your motion. The motion was to turn down the ordinance, but you've just voted no on your motion.
so
I think you meant to vote yes.
Withdraw.
do I withdraw, or is that?
Yeah, you can, for a point of order, you can withdraw it and do it again.
Okay.
So to be clear, the motion was to override the planning
Right.
commission recommendation, so it would be a no to approve the zoning, but if you want to say no, then your answer here would be yes.
Yes, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, Mr. Blamel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes,
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
thank you. The second reading for zoning ordinance 24-11, Stout Farm Brothers.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 24-11, an ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from agricultural to conservation. The property in question is 58.2 acres, more or less, located at Deerwood Drive, parcel number 083-000-00-036A in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission, and docket number 2024Z-24, is hereby changed from agricultural to conservation. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force in effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 7th day of May 2024. Given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 21st day of May 2024.
Thank you, Tammy.
And I'm going to make the same motion on ordinance 2410 Stout Brothers Farm to override the Planning Commission's recommendation due to lack of infrastructure to support the construction of a subdivision. Owner was asked to consider a construction entrance and declined, and the owner has land to put in a construction entrance off Highway 31, Bardstown Road.
I'll second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Blingell, a second by 1st District Magistrate Sanders to overturn the Planning Commission's recommendation for Stout Farm Brothers, Inc. on 24-10.
11.
What?
This one's 11.
11? Okay. Thank you. Candy, call the roll.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blingell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. First reading for ordinance 24-14 for the animal control.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, Bullitt County, ordinance number 24-14, and ordinance amending ordinance number 17-11 relating to the control of animals within Bullitt County, Kentucky. In summary, be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky. In summary, number 1, sets forth definitions. Number 2, sets forth restraint required. Number 3, sets forth dogs and cats to be licensed and vaccinated against rabies. Section 4 sets forth impoundment procedures. Section 5 sets forth that adopted animals shall be sterilized. Section 6 sets forth drop-off fee and procedures. Section 7 sets forth that animals shall be confined when in heat. Section 8 sets forth that no animal shall be permitted to be a public nuisance. Section 9 sets forth animals shall be treated humanely. Section 10 sets forth prohibition of using dogs or cats as food or clothing. Section 11 sets forth diseased animals shall be contained. Section 12 sets forth interference prohibited. Section 13 sets forth effective dates. Section 14 sets forth severability. Section 15 sets forth inconsistent ordinances repealed. Section 16 sets forth penalty. Given first reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 21st day of May 2024, to be given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 4th day of June 2024. And Judge, by way of explanation, pretty much what we did, I worked very closely with David Nemus and Tony Wilson to update our ordinance to match KRS. There's been a lot of changes in the law, so this was really just kind of to update to bring us in compliance with KRS.
Okay. Thank you, Tammy. Do we need public comment on this?
Yeah, if there's anybody who wants to speak.
Is there anyone here to speak for zoning ordinance 24-14, changes to our animal control ordinance? Anyone here to speak against 24-14 relating to the control of animals within Bullitt County? Thank you all. First reading for the budget for fiscal year 24-25. Mr. Griffey.
Thank you, Judge. Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, ordinance number 2412, an ordinance relating to the budget of Bullitt County for fiscal year 2024-2025. Be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County, Commonwealth of Kentucky. Summary. Whereas the proposed budget was tentatively approved by the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County on the 21st day of May 2024 and approved as to form and classification by the State Local Finance Officer. Section 1. The following budget is adopted for the fiscal year 2024-25, and the amounts stated are appropriated for the purposes indicated in the summary analysis set forth hereafter. Number 1, General Fund. General Government, $10,308,694. Protection of Persons and Property, $763,575. General Health and Sanitation, $2,435,124. Social Services, $158,500. Recreation and Culture, $2,276,835. Debt service, 0. Capital projects, $1,301,000. General services, $814,000. Contingent appropriations, $4,760,620. Fringe benefits, employee share, $2,075,000. Total general fund, $24,893,348. Road fund, roads, $3,906,576. Fringe benefits, employee share, $762,000. Total road fund, $4,668,576. Jail fund, protection to persons and property, $4,830,119. Fringe benefits, employee share, $1,229,000. Total jail fund, $6,059,119. LGEA fund, protection to persons and property, $7,900. Roads, $952,100. Total LGEA fund, $960,000. Federal grants fund, protection to persons and property, $400,000. Total federal grant fund, $400,000. EMS fund, protection to persons and property, $5,697,800. Administration, $2,176,700. Total EMS fund, $7,874,500. Forest fire fund, protection to persons and property, $2,000. The total forest fire fund, $2,000. Clerk storage fund, clerk storage, $25,000. Total clerk storage fund, $25,000. Dispatch fund, protection to persons and property, $1,805,685. Debt service, 0. Administration, $257. Total dispatch fund, $2,333,942. ARPA fund, 0. Total ARPA fund, 0. Opioid fund, $125. Total opioid fund, $125,000. Grand total all funds, $47,341,485. This ordinance shall be published in the Pioneer newspaper by title and summary within 30 days following adoption. The ordinance becomes effective upon passage and publication. All interested persons and organizations in Bullitt County are hereby notified that a copy of the budget in full is available for public inspection at the office of the County Judge Executive during normal business hours. Given the first reading in a regular meeting of Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 21st day of May 2024, a second reading to follow.
Thank you, Keith.
A couple of things on this, Judge, just to let folks know, there is a 4% cut in the budget from last year. So that's, and a lot of that was equipment that was bought over the last couple of years is now catching up. So that's where we are on that side. There was another part of the cuts could be in salaries where we've gone with fully, a lot of our agencies are getting fully staffed, which means we're not spending as much on overtime. So that's where we are.
Okay, thank you. You're going to send that up today?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next up is item number 8, Marshall Steakhouse and Resort Lease Agreement. You have that in your packet, members of the court. If you have any detailed questions on it, Mr. Griffey's here to answer it. But Marshall's is interested in leasing the property at 245 on the southbound side. And all this is just a understanding between the two parties that they can lease it when their funds become available.
And Judge, I did review this with Mr. Griffey, and it looks appropriate.
Okay, thank you, Tammy. I'd like to have some action on it so we can move forward with it.
And this is just a letter of intent, so there will be more documents to follow to clear it up.
So what would we be making the motion about? Accepting this?
To accept
or-
the letter of intent and
It's a
allow
letter
the
of
judge to
intent.
execute it.
Right. And then there would be plans, no different than what we had for the Grand Reserve.
There'll be more
Site plans
presentations
and
and
all that.
documents to follow.
Right.
Can we get an idea of the idea that they have?
Yes, that'll come, as Tammy said, this is a letter of intent. It is an agreement that we are interested in moving forward with this. What would come next will be the full plans. This just says we're interested in going forward with this. We want to make sure that he's available to this if all of his plans, it'll be all contingent upon what his plans are.
And it's really, I mean, he needs us to commit to at least considering it before he's going to spend any kind of money developing plans and things
Right.
like that. This is just the first step.
I make a motion that we accept the letter of intent from Marshall Steakhouse and Resort LLS.
Okay. Got a motion by First District Magistrate Sanders, a second by Fourth District Magistrate Blemmel to accept the letter of intent for Marshall Steakhouse and Resort on a lease agreement. Candy, call the roll, please.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blingell? Yes. Judge Summers?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you all.
Judge, I'll get that to him today.
Sure. The Sweat Construction, excuse me, proposal for the animal control facility. You all have that in your agreement. Mr. Sweat's here, and so is Tony, to answer your questions and the details of the new animal control shelter.
Jamie, feel free with me too. He probably knows more about the building process than I do, so.
That's fine.
Tony, I do have a question.
Sure.
Will you all be removing any of the contents from the old?
We're gonna try to
kennel?
salvage as much as we can out of it, yes.
But,
Yeah, a lot of the stuff is probably not salvageable for the most part. I mean, that building is about 40-plus years old, so, and all your kennels are all concrete, so it's not like anything you can remove for the most part, so.
and the price that we're looking at, the amount that we're looking at here, that's including, that's out the door, correct?
It's turnkey style, everything be
Turnkey.
ready to go.
And it does have room for expansion.
Yes.
Without
That is the
any
plus. We're
exterior.
gonna have room
yeah.
for expansion in the future once this county starts to grow bigger and bigger.
And will this be a two-story building, or is it just freestanding one-story?
The mechanical room will be upstairs with, having future storage and all that for,
So there'll be steps to go up,
exactly, yes.
up there?
Yeah, the mezzanine, all the mechanical part of it, everything that functions, really the guts of the building, electric, plumbing, all be over. It'd be a big steel shell, with the components inside.
I guess I'm thinking if there'd be a floor, and if they want to move the office up there later on, there would be plenty of room,
Exactly.
height-wise, to
Oh,
do
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it'd be roughly 25 feet to the peaks from the
Okay.
floor.
Is the second floor gonna be over the entire building, or is it just?
Down the middle, but the deck, the structural for the ceiling will be for the first floor. Then it'll be rated for flooring. We're gonna finish approximately, I think it was 15, the square footage was on the proposal. Down the middle, really get the HVAC units, the hot water heater, everything, really overflow, because storage, you go in any animal shelter, the donations, the storage, everything is just a big amount, you really don't need it down in the way of the normal function of the building.
And it's all steel and metal, right?
Exactly, it's pre-engineered building. Manufactured PEAK, manufactured building.
And there's 24 dog kennels?
few more than that, I think, if I'm correct, because you'll have some in like a quarantine area, you'll have some in a med room, so you'll have some other options in other rooms. Because of course, you know, disease control is always something you want to do with animals. Because if they start spreading, you're going to get everybody in there sick, and then you're vetting everybody in there. So you want to try to keep certain animals away from other animals for disease control and stuff like that.
But the general day-to-day.
Overall, I think if I'm correct, I think it was like 30-something kennels altogether.
34.
And then we'll have, there'll be 4 or 5, maybe just 6 holding kennels inside the garage where we do a drop-off. So you'll have a holding area as well too. Which
And then
that's
you
gonna
have
be the
room.
biggest plus with the garage is where we're at now. When you unload, you're out in the elements. You're out in the rain, the snow, you got the chance of the dog getting loose from you, running straight to 65 or 245, one or the other. With this garage, you're gonna save a lot of situations like that where the animal can't get loose from you. So, and it's gonna keep you out of those elements too, for the most part, unloading and loading. So,
Safer for the employees.
yeah, safer for the employees and the animals. So,
Really.
I actually looked at the plans in the back, and I like how y'all separated the cats from the dogs.
you're gonna have a big variety of people that are allergic to cats, and they're not gonna wanna go in there and view the cats. They wanna just go look at the dogs. So that way, when you have them separately, they don't have to worry about dealing with that issue. They can go in there and go look at the dogs. Jamie here is gonna do a nice little situation where the dog kennels will be nice and soundproof kinda, where you won't be able to hear all the sound coming out of there. So, that's gonna help a lot.
Okay.
And the biggest thing is just having some private offices. I don't know if any of y'all been to the shelter, but your office is one room. And when you're trying to do anything with law enforcement or anything like that, everybody in the whole office is viewing what you're doing. So this is something why you definitely need private offices for court cases and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, magistrates? Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion to approve the contract.
So moved.
Okay. Okay, I'm making the motion to approve the.
Oh, I'll second.
Karen's going to second it. Candy, call the roll, please.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blemmel? Yes. Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you all.
Tony, Mr. Sweat, you'll have that done by the end of the month, right?
That's what I'm hoping it is anyway.
There you go.
What is your time frame on that?
The steel building, we gotta order it first before they send us drawings on it. It's engineered to shell. So
Right.
it's gonna be 4 to 6 weeks,
Yep.
on just getting the steel, the engineered drawings for them to start making.
Is it,
As soon as we can get everything signed, just send in, and I have to give them a deposit, a 20% deposit, to make it. I'd say 6 months, depending on the weather.
Okay.
9 at the latest. The kennels are made in, I think, Kansas. Everything's based off the Jefferson counties. I don't know if you've ever been in their animals. They got really nice, up-to-date clinic. Everything operates good. Nobody, like getting something special, equipment for the building. It's gonna be like the kennels. I don't know how far out I hadn't talked to them 2 or 3 months, so that can change. So, yeah, 6 months maybe, roughly.
so we're kind of looking at the end of the year, first of next year.
Oh, yeah, but, well, no later.
Weather has a lot to do with it.
The steel, it was late, it was a pretty good piece out now. It's about 4 to 6 weeks, so that's the biggest holdup.
Well, thank you, Tony, David, Jamie.
Thank you all.
Okay, Resolution 24-02, adopting and approving the execution of the county road aid plan, the program contract. It's in your all's folder. Yep.
Single.
Resolution 24-02, Fiscal Court of Bullitt County, resolution adopting and approving execution of a county road aid co-op program contract between the Fiscal Court and the Commonwealth of Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, Department of Rural and Municipal Aid for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2024, as provided in the Kentucky Revised Statutes, and accepting all roads and streets referred to therein as being a part of the county road system. Be it resolved by the Fiscal Court that the Fiscal Court does hereby accept all roads and streets referred to in said contract as being a part of the county road system, and the Fiscal Court does hereby ratify and adopt all statements, representations, warranties, covenants, and agreements contained in said contract, and does hereby accept said contract, and by such acceptance agrees to all the terms and conditions therein stated, and the county judge executive of the county is hereby authorized and directed to sign said contract as set forth on behalf of the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County, and the clerk of Bullitt County is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto.
Thank you, Tammy.
We just need a motion to accept.
Yes, the resolution to do the county road aid.
All right, so I'll make a motion to accept Resolution 2402, adopting and approving the county road aid co-op program contract.
Gotcha.
Did you make the motion? I'll second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Blamewell, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson to approve the Resolution 2402, adopting and approving the execution of the County Road Aid Co-op Program. Control. Candy, call the roll.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blumel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Number 11, County Road Aid Cooperative Program Agreement in the amount of $1,205,335, and I think it's 68 cents.
So I'll make a motion that we adopt the County Road Aid Cooperative Program Agreement in the amount of $1,205,335.68.
Okay.
A second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Blamewell, a second by 1st District Magistrate Sanders to approve the County Road Aid Agreement in $1,205,335.68. Candy, call the roll, please.
Mr. Blumel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. The reappointment of Diane Elliott to the Nichols Fire District Protection Board, term to expire 6/30/2027. I'll put that in the form of a motion.
A second.
Got a second by 1st District Magistrate Sanders. Candy, call the roll, please.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blumel?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. The next one is Bullitt County Clerk surplus items. It's attached in your packet. It goes everything from masks and gloves all the way down to one digital camera. There's 10 items. This was all basically from COVID.
I make a motion to accept the Bullitt County Clerk surplus items.
Second.
Got a motion by 1st District Magistrate Sanders, a second by 4th District Magistrate Blamewell to accept the Bullitt County Clerk's surplus items. Candy, call the roll, please.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blumel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Thank you. Yes.
Motion carried.
New hires. Chris?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Chris.
We have interviewed and would like to hire three individuals, and then promote one. Mr. Joe Goodlett and Daniel Cook, they had resigned from their positions a month or so ago. They elected to come back. They did not like where they went, so they want to come back to us. They hadn't been gone for 3 months, so they would be coming back at their rate that they were at, which is $20.50 and $21.50, or $21, I'm sorry. Ms. Hutchins, she stepped down to part-time for personal reasons. She wants to step back up to full-time. And then Mr. Carlisle would be promoted to what was previously the training director. We renamed that to training coordinator to more accurately reflect the job description.
There you go.
Is
Thank you, Chris.
Jason a paramedic or is he EMT?
He is a paramedic.
He is a paramedic.
Mhm. Yeah, he was the gentleman who spoke
Yes.
so at the
Yeah, I kept wanting me to give him a raise.
leadership days. Well,
And also on Joe and Daniel, I know they worked for us in the past. How long were they gone?
Less than 3 months. I can't remember an exact time frame. Janice, do you have that? Yeah.
A month.
yep.
And was this their pay? Because I know we start out at 1950.
Right, this was the pay when they left.
Left.
Okay.
And so on the last one on there, is that just a change of the title, basically, or was he?
He was previously the assistant training director. He is being promoted to what was previously the training director, which is now the training coordinator. So the assistant training coordinator position will be open.
So did the person that was on there leave?
They moved to a different position that is no longer salary.
Is that the one, so just for clarification, is that the one where they were getting a lot of overtime and changed
Correct.
it to salary?
Correct.
So I'm going to put all that in the form of a motion. For Joe Goodlett, Daniel Cook, Jessica Hutchins, and Jason Carlisle.
I'll second.
Got a second by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson. Candy, call the roll.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blemo?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes,
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Motion carried.
thank you. Vera, I'll start with you. Any comments, concerns, questions?
No, I don't. Thank
Okay,
you.
all right. Karen?
Oh, well, that was just a great meeting. Got a lot done today. I noticed over the weekend at the disc golf course that they had a ladies Heartland Disc Golf Club Women's Global Event. They had over 45 ladies there. And we look forward to hosting many more events. This was posted by Kim Foster. And I think it's just a shame that we don't have the restrooms and the facilities that concession stand open for-
Right.
to host these events.
Yeah, and to help you a little bit with that, Karen, I'd expect Charlie to pipe in here for a minute, but we did ask Charlie to get the engineering firm to go out there and construct a bid that we can put in the newspaper instead of having them all over the place.
To get the restrooms open.
Restrooms and the concession area.
That's
Each
what I
one.
wanted
Yep,
to see happen. So
Yes, ma'am.
That's good news.
that is good news, and we're going to put that in Tom's newspaper hopefully this week.
And we received a $245,000 grant
Yep,
matching,
uh-huh,
so we can get the show on the road.
yep,
Well, that's good news.
okay. Brian?
So I don't have a whole lot, just, it's election day, so.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, go vote.
Okay, good deal. I've got 2 or 3 items here. I'm going to start first with, on May the 10th, I took a visit to the Smith's Farm Superfund site with the Atlanta EPA, the Kentucky EPA that represents the federal government to the state government. There's 3 divisions here, and then the state EPA, along with KIPTA, because there's brownfield money. And out there, this is just approximate, there's about 400 acres that we were looking at some type of public use. 80 of it is still the cap of the Superfund site itself, and this is just exploratory. We're going to make sure that before we present it back to the court, if it's feasible, the do's and don'ts of what we could do out there as well, because it'll leave us somewhere around 300 acres for public use, of which outside of Knobview, and y'all heard something about the iron furnace, we're working on an agreement there to have other visitors. I mean, we have no public mass areas that the general public can go to. I mean, Bernheim is literally private anymore. You have to pay $10 to get in. This would be more like the Jefferson Forest kind of deal, if feasible. Also on the, and to reiterate what Brian's saying, it's Election Day, but also on May 27th, this is out here in front of the courthouse at 11 a.m., we're going to do a memorial service for all those who served in the military in this county. So I hope all of y'all can make it.
Say that one.
11 a.m., and we'll put it on our Facebook page here in a little while. We got the confirmation from Tom down at the VFW right before the meeting, so we'll be hosting that again this year. And that's literally all I have today. So I need a motion, Vera.
It is 10:33, and I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Got a motion by 1st District Magistrate Sanders, a second by 4th District Magistrate Blamo to adjourn the Bullitt County Fiscal Court at 10:31 a.m. on May the 21st. Candy, call the roll, please.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blemo? Yes. Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank all of y'all today.